Hey gang, welcome back to another Viewers Projects video. I think this video is going to be pretty cool. If you've been following along, you know that I've done 4 of these so far. Let's see if I can remember these. I had Andrew from Pennsylvania. I had Wally from Ontario, Canada. I had Greg from Australia. And I had Jamel from Long Island, New York. And those videos were great. I love seeing that stuff, and I'm sure all of you like seeing them as well. But this one is special because it's coming from Romania. I never would have thought that I would see a Mustang or hear of a Mustang being restored in Romania. But that's what it is. This video is from Cristian, and he's restoring a '67 Mustang. So let's take a look at his project.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm from Bucharest, Romania, and I want to start this video with a bit of history. So it's the 60s, right? Ford wants to do something new to the automotive history. They want to create a car that women will want to drive, but also looks appealing to the men too. It has to be unique, it has to be practical, it has to be affordable. After a few failed prototype attempts, finally progress has been made in the team led by Joseph Orosz. Even though Joe was born and lived in the US, both his parents were Romanians. This prototype eventually made its way into production and was released on April 17th, 1964 at New York World's Fair. And this car was referred to as the Mustang. So fast forwarding to 2009, I was out one night with a friend. We just got some coffees and we were walking down the boulevard, and there it was. On a lane next to me, 67 Mustang passed by. It was a fastback. It was gray with 2 black stripes on it. I was looking at it and I almost hit a tree, but I kept looking at it until I couldn't see it no more. And I don't know, in that moment something clicked, and I wouldn't stop thinking about it. So that being said, in 2016 I got my own 67 Mustang. I found it on an ad here in Bucharest. I went to see it, I loved it immediately, and after that I bought it. And I drove it a couple of months, but it was in really bad shape, so I went to a friend one day to see what parts I need to buy and what needs to be changed on it. And basically a simple oil change or replacing bushings and stuff like that turned into a full restoration. This started in 2017, and since then I had to move the car in a few places and a few other garages until I finally found this one. It's kind of small, but I can work with it. I mean, I'm happy with the fact that I'm alone in here and I can focus on the work that I do. I want to mention that I have no mechanical or body work or painting background. Actually, I'm a programmer. The only thing that helped me doing this stuff is watching a lot of videos, basically abusing the internet, asking a lot of questions to basically everybody that was doing these sort of projects. So this is how I met Joe Daddy. He helped me a lot, especially with his videos on Jade, the '68 Mustang. He even helped me with some questions, some specific questions that I asked him on Instagram, and he was kind enough to respond to me. So yeah, he has been a huge help. So that being said, basically I think it's time to introduce you guys to the most irresponsible financial decision that I have ever made. So let's take a look around, see what I've done to the car and what will come next. So we are going to start here in the front and work our way to the back. I didn't put the fenders on because I want to show you on the sides the patches and stuff I needed to address. This car was also involved in quite a few collisions, so I addressed that as best way possible. It was also rolled over at one point because I saw that the roof was very wavy. This front radiator support was replaced because the old one was very rusty. Here I addressed some cracks in the shock towers. I welded them up. On this side, this frame rail was rusted out to pieces basically, so I had to replace this side. You can see here that I also put a little bit of seam sealer, and this is not perfectly flush, but it's straight all the way across. Here I had to do some repairs, basically made some patches for this bottom side and this side as well, because this is where the battery sits and it was very rusty here. This side here was very wrinkly, and I had to use some hammer and dolly on it. I got it as straight as possible, but it still has some few bends here and there. Also these sides where the panels meet, they were rusted out, so I had to cut that out and make a patch for it and weld it in place. I did that on both sides. I replaced the braces on the right side and on the left side as well. The whole cowl was rusted out, so I had to replace everything. I went and bought the whole piece, meaning the upper side and also the lower side, so I welded that in place. Moving along to the side here, I made a patch here. I also added passenger side torque box. This isn't, I didn't order this piece, I just fabricated it. I also, you can see here where I addressed those cracks in the shock tower. I only make them smooth in the engine compartment because they are visible there. I didn't bother too much to having them ground down here. I fabricated the plate and I put in here. I seam sealed all over it after welding it in place. Also, I did the Shelby drop. I don't know, it's not visible because I welded the old hole shut, but basically I made myself a template. I didn't order one, and I measured it correctly and it's dead on. The measurements are correct, so I'm not worried about that. I did that on the other side as well. So as you can see, this is the driver's side with the exact same thing, a plate welded in and the Shelby drop made. Also I had to do a patch here, and this torque box was rotted out from under, so I had to replace the whole underside of the torque box. I also made here on the side a patch panel. I don't know if it's visible, not really because of the undercoating, but it was somewhere in this area. This car had drum brakes on all four corners, but I will be getting a disc upgrade, at least for the front. These fenders, the driver's side was in good condition, but the passenger side was hit. so I had to do some straightening with hammer and dolly, and I used a little bit of body filler to address that. Moving along to the midsection here, we have the roof that was all wavy, so I had to use a hammer and dolly on it to basically make it straight. At one point I also removed the roof so I can treat the underside structure and get it sandblasted, and applied some epoxy on it just to keep it from rusting in the future. Also, I shaved the drip rails because they were also rusty. Basically, they couldn't be salvaged. So I did this. I think it looks cleaner this way, and I know it's not. It won't be a car for the purists, and it won't look like the factory did it, but I think it looks better this way. When I took the roof off of the car, there were two brackets here and over that side. So those I couldn't salvage, so I made my own, and I welded them, and now it's flush. You can see where they were. I went ahead and put the doors on just to see the fitment, and they are pretty close. They still need a little bit of massaging here and there, but I will get them better in the end. Moving on to the side here, this rocker panel was hit in this area, so it was pulled out, but it was all wavy. So I basically cut it from here in the back, and I replaced the whole thing. Ordered both floors and replaced the left and the right side. Basically replaced almost everything except the transmission tunnel. Also had made some patches here in the front passenger side and on the driver's side as well. Don't know if you can really see it, but they are there. I went ahead and fabricated my own seat risers. I fabricated my own subframe connectors. I opened up these rear door boxes. I cleaned them up because they had rust in them. And basically what I did was I tied them up with the rear and front rails, so it's is now a solid piece. I also tied them to the rocker panel to be even more stiff. I had to do a patch here in the back side because this part of the floor was rusted out. Also a small patch here. That side was good actually. I didn't do any patches on that side. These quarter panels were replaced, this and that side as well. Moving along to this side, I did on both sides the seamless quarter extension, and also the seamless valance panel. I think it looks better this way. When I replaced these quarter panels, the lip here on the interior was pretty rusty, so I had to cut that out, and I made a patch just for that portion. In the back side here, this portion and on that side as well, they were rusted out because of water trapped in here, so I had to cut these corners and make a few small patches. This whole trunk floor needed to be replaced, but I went ahead and did a few patches here and there, and I replaced from here backwards on this side, and a little bit more on this side. I had to cut it right here in this area and replace basically the whole thing. These drop panels were also rusty, so I had to fabricate new ones. I did some patches here in the bottom. On this side as well, you can see that there's a small patch there. These mounting points for the trunk hinges, I had to weld them up in that area because they were detached. I did this on this side as well. This taillight panel was replaced, and also this I don't know what it's called, cross member that ties it up together. Basically at one point the whole back of the car was missing. The only thing I managed to salvage was this brace and also these small braces that hold the rear bumper. So I didn't really cover everything because this project took place over the last almost 3 years now, I think. There might be some things that I might have missed, but basically this is it. There is more to come. Next month I will be ordering some bolts to put the whole front end back together. Basically I want to do a final mock-up to see that everything lines up correctly. And after that I think I'm gonna paint the engine compartment and start mounting up the front suspension, because right now it is sitting on this body card that I made. And after that I think I'm gonna deal with the rear diff and clean it up real good and get it on the car, and we'll see from there. So this project isn't even halfway done, but all I can do is make peace with the fact that it will take some time and also enjoy the building process because there is more to come. So my only advice to you guys out there who are watching this video and thinking about tackling a project like this or something similar without wanting to sound wise or something like that, I say you should do it, because if I come to think about it, this project until now has brought me nothing but joy. Sure, there were some times when I got frustrated because I didn't have the money to buy parts, or I didn't have the correct tools and stuff like that, or I was trying to make something when I was trying to learn how to weld. I will make a patch and it wouldn't be that great and I have to cut it off and redo it. Even with those small unpleasant parts, this has been nothing but awesome. So to keep it short, this was it. Good luck with your projects and see you next time. I'm out.
Now, how cool is that? I never would have expected to see a 67 Mustang, or any classic Mustang really, being restored in Romania. And here he is doing it in his small garage, taking his time, cutting out the bad, welding in new material, and I think it's just incredible. You know, it just really shows you the power of the internet and how big the reach is of channels like this. So I'm so happy that he's able to use my videos and probably videos of other people to get information to help him with his project. So again, Christian, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure all the viewers out here, they'd like to see your car as well. I'm looking forward to updates. And if you're looking forward to seeing more of his car, I can post some links down below. I think he's trying to or considering starting a YouTube channel. So I'll post a link to that. And I know he's got a page on Facebook. So I'll post a link to that as well, so you can check him out. Now, with all that said, if you want to showcase your car or have your car showcased on this channel, let me know. Send me an email, joedaddysgarage@gmail.com. We'll go back and forth and figure out what we need to do to get the video in the right place, and we'll go from there. I do want to say I have 3 or 4 more videos already in the works, and I'm going to put these out on Sundays. I don't want to overload the channel with this kind of content, because obviously there's other things that need to be on it. So this would be a Sunday only type of event. Look forward to that, and I look forward to hearing from you, and that's it. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment. All those things help with the YouTube algorithms and whatever. So every little bit helps. And until next time, take care of yourselves.